Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment, and you join me on what's been a very warm day today. We've had a week or so of very hot temperatures. I think yesterday was the hottest, 33, 34 degrees, something like that. Very hot for here for June. It's been lovely up here. Everything's growing, of course, so there's been some weeding, there's been sort of hedge clipping and grass cutting and all types of stuff like that, but also some harvest as well. It's a very nice time of the year for actually seeing the fruit of the labour, so to speak. So today I've pulled up some of the garlics. Look at those. Got a whole bunch of them sort of down there. Not going to win any awards, but will keep us going in garlic for a long time. Also some spinach as well. Getting about that much every time we come up here. Just handfuls and handfuls of it. Just keeps coming back like no tomorrow. And probably the star of the show is these black currants. Look at those beauties. Picked probably the same sort of size tub of that as the other day as well, and it basically looks like I've not actually touched the 2 or 3 bushes over there. So I think we'll be having black currants for a long time to come, the next few weeks anyway. But while that's all very interesting, I know most of you didn't tune in to hear about the weather in North London or what we've picked on the allotments, though I do know that some of you do like that and to keep track of things, so thank you for that. But of course you're here to watch and listen about some thoughts on whiskey. And what is the Allotment Dram today, I hear you ask? Well, it's a bit of a classic really. We have a classic whiskey from Campbelltown, and it's the SPRINGBANK 10. There we are, SPRINGBANK 10 years old. So as I say, a real classic, quite iconic whiskey from Campbelltown. I mean, SPRINGBANK is the longest, it's a distillery in Scotland that has the longest continual family ownership with the Mitchells. The Mitchells took it over in 1837. They didn't originally found the distillery, actually. It was founded a few years before in 1828 by the Reed family, and the Reeds and the Mitchells knew each other sort of through marriage. So the Mitchells then took over in 1837 and have owned it ever since. So they own, what else? They own the Glengyle distillery, which is also in Campbelltown. They own Cadenheads, the independent bottlers as well, and of course SPRINGBANK. Campbelltown, of course, where they're based, used to be a massive sort of heartbeat of the Scotch whisky industry, and it's now, almost a little bit forgotten in whisky circles. There used to be over 100 years ago or so, there used to be over 30 distilleries in the town or around, in the local area around. Now there's just 3, which is SPRINGBANK and Glengyle, like we've mentioned, which are both owned by the Mitchells, and Glen Scotia. So you can see there's been a real sort of dip. Several things meant that sort of by the 1950s and 60s there was only 2 actually, which was SPRINGBANK and Glen Scotia. Now it's coming back. There's 2 or 3 others that have planning sort of in the local area or in Campbelltown itself. So in the next 2 or 3 years there'll be 5 or 6 distilleries there, which suddenly is starting to put it back on the map. But anyway, what can I tell you about this 10 years old? As I say, it's a bit of a classic, a well-loved whiskey in our household. Well, this 10 years old is actually a combination of bourbon and sherry cask, and ex-bourbon cask, there's 60%, and ex-sherry cask, there is 40%. So these have both been matured for 10 years and then married together in that proportion. It's 46%, and it's non-chill filtered and natural colour as well. And we found ours for, I mean, you see it's in all sorts of different prices because it's actually on allocation. The quantities are quite small. They don't make a large amount of whiskey at Campbelltown, at SPRINGBANK each year, but yeah, it's on allocation sort of worldwide, different markets across across the globe. We got ours from Cadenheads actually, their London shop, and it cost us £55. So, but you'll see it for anything between that and probably £70 or £80. I've seen some places trying to sell it for. But yeah, Springbank also, you know, slightly unusual in that they make 3 different types of spirit at the distillery as well. You know, most distilleries make what they make. You know, Glenfiddich makes Glenfiddich. It is what it is. It's sort of fruity, light, classic Speyside style. You know, other distilleries make what they make, whereas Springbank make 3 different, distinctly different styles of spirit. So they make the Springbank, which is lightly peated, actually. They then make a heavily peated, which they call Longrow, which is named after one of the old distilleries in Campbelltown, actually, that was a neighbour to them, and as a little sort of hat tip to that. That's the heavily peated one. And then they also make Hazelburn for a short period each year, which again is the name of another old Campbelltown distillery that doesn't exist anymore, and that's triple distilled. It's non-peated and triple distilled rather than the regular double distillation. So yeah, really interesting place, very hands-on, very traditional. You know, they do their own floor malting and all of that, so it's literally like how whiskey used to be made, you know, very traditional. But I think that's quite enough sort of rambling on about the weather and what we've picked and Springbank and Campbelltown, so let's have a taste. Lovely sound. There we go, look at that vibrant gold colour there, lovely. Just put that back down. Right, let's have a smell. Oh, it's lovely. So as I said, it's lightly peated, so you have this very gentle smoke, almost like ashy, you know, smouldering ember type smoke, just sitting underneath. You know, you wouldn't say it was a smoky whiskey, but you know the smoke is there, very cleverly just sort of in the background there. But there's lots of sweetness. There's honeycomb, some golden syrup, and like chocolate and raisin. Let's say chocolate coated raisin. Yeah, that sounds good, doesn't it? Really reminds me of that. Like fresh honeycomb, loads of it. Right, let's have a taste. That's very good. Lovely mouthfeel. Slightly oily, quite gripping texture. All that honeycomb, golden syrup right up front. And there's some lovely raisins, sultana, big, plump, juicy sultana there as well. Wow. Milk chocolate. Then there's quite a robust maltiness. It's making me think of like an oatmeal cookie or flapjack, something like that. If you don't know what flapjack is, look up the recipe. It's basically sort of honey, oats, maybe some fruit, all mixed together, and you make it into like a sort of biscuit and thing. But yeah, very, very nice. Lovely. And then there's some vanilla toffee as well, just adding extra sweetness. And then you've got this sort of almost ashy, charcoaly peat smoke just sitting underneath, like whispering away to you, just reminding you that it's there. Very, very nice. Let's have another taste. It's really easy to see why a lot of people rave about Springbank. It really is exceptionally good. You know, I think this, as I said, is an absolute classic, and while it may have, you know, more illustrious and expensive siblings in the range, you know, there's a 15, a 21, a 25, you know, cask strength 12 years old that comes out in small batches annually. You know, while it has all of those, this is just, I mean, if you had to describe to somebody what is a classic Campbelltown single malt, then it would be this. You know, it's honeyed, it's fruity, it's got that gentle level of smoke there, just smouldering away. You know, very, very good. Now I'm getting some, all of that. I'm getting like a bit of, almost like red apple, and a bit more of that juicy sultana, but also slight nutty, let's say like a sweet nutty sort of note, like hazelnut praline, maybe like sugared almonds or something like that. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah, so yeah, I think without further ado, you know, £55, you know, it's a bit pricey for a 10-year-old even these days, but you know, for, you know, the sort of kudos, the cult following that Springbank has, you know, the prices are going to go up because they literally don't have the amount to meet the demand. So yeah, I think from myself and the Springbank 10, we will bid you farewell. We'll let you get on doing whatever you were doing before you discovered this video, and we'll hopefully see you again soon for another allotment dram. Thanks for watching. Cheers.